Pine cones have served as a symbolic representation of human enlightenment throughout history. The third eye and the pineal gland. Conifer pine trees are one of the world's oldest plant genera, having existed nearly 3 times as long as all flowering plant species. The pine cone is the flower's evolutionary forerunner, and its spines spiral in a perfect Fibonacci sequence in either direction, much like the sacred geometry of a rose or a sunflower. Our pineal gland is located in our brain's geometric center and intimately linked to our body's light perception. The pineal modulates our wake-sleep patterns and circadian rhythms. It is uniquely isolated from the blood-brain barrier system and receives more blood flow than any other organ except the kidneys. Many consider it our biological third eye, the seat of the soul, the epicenter of enlightenment, and the pine cone has been its sacred symbol throughout history and cultures worldwide. The Egyptian staff of Osiris dates from around 1224 BC and depicts 2 intertwining serpents rising to meet at a pine cone. The staff's symbolic parallels to the Indian Kundalini, a spiritual energy in the body described as coiled serpents rising from the base of the spine to the third eye or pineal gland in the moment of enlightenment, have been noted by modern scholars and philosophers. Awakened Kundalini represents the merging and alignment of the chakras and is said to be the only way to achieve divine wisdom, which brings pure joy, knowledge, and love. Hindu deity depictions are intertwined with literal and symbolic serpents and pine cones. Hindu gods are sometimes carved, sculpted, or drawn holding a pine cone in their outstretched hand. Shiva, the most important god in Hinduism, is frequently depicted with a head or coiled hair shaped like a pine cone and interwoven with a serpent. Pine cones have historically been used as symbols of everlasting life, spiritual consciousness, and enlightenment. Ancient Assyrian palace carvings from 716 to 713 BC depict 4 winged godlike figures holding aloft pine cones, or in some cases, using a pine cone to pollinate their depiction of the tree of life, a tribute to both the pine cone's immortality symbolism and its role as an icon of enlightenment. Different cultures tribute to the pine cone as a symbol of spiritual ascension and immortality, which is depicted in a statue of the Mexican god Chicomecoatl, or 7 snakes, who's holding pine cones in one hand and an evergreen tree in the other. The Greeks and Romans also used the pine cone in their elaborate religious belief systems and mythology. Dionysus, later known to the Romans as Bacchus, was frequently depicted carrying a thyrsus, a fennel staff woven with ivy and leaves and topped with a pine cone. A thyrsus was a sacred instrument used in religious rituals and fates. Later, the Romans erected the pigna, a 3-story tall bronze sculpture shaped like a massive pine cone. According to a popular medieval legend, the statue was a lid for a round opening in the center of the Pantheon's vault. The pigna was confirmed to have been a large fountain overflowing with water next to the Temple of Isis in ancient Rome. Today, the massive statue sits before the Catholic Vatican in the court of the pine cone. Pine cones are interwoven with Catholic religious traditions, perhaps most prominently atop the sacred staff carried by the Pope himself. The Holy See coat of arms, found in the Vatican flag and other places, features 3 crowns stacking suspiciously like a pine cone. Many believe the name Holy See directly references the third eye. Pine cones also appear as illumination sources in the church, such as candle holders and lamps, which symbolize the spiritual illumination of the third eye. These factors lead conspiracy theorists and philosophers to accuse the Catholic Church of using Catholicism as a veil to blind the public to true spiritual enlightenment, pineal gland awakening. Beginning in Genesis, Jacob wrestles with God all night and is told to change his name to Israel. Following that, the Bible claims, For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. The sun rose on him as he passed over Pineal. Genesis 32:30-31. Another intriguing passage compares Matthew's description of the third eye to texts from the yogic and Hindu spiritual traditions. This verse is also noteworthy because the pineal gland is the only part of the brain that lacks a left and right hemisphere. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6:22. Matthew's description appears to be relevant to recent pineal experimentation in amphibians. Pineal supplementation causes a physical lightening of the entire skin pigmentation in frogs with a more prominent pineal gland. Some reptiles' pineal glands still have rods and cones like our retinas and can directly perceive light. This final verse from Hosea appears to address the connection between spirituality and the pine tree more directly. What else do I have to do with idols, Ephraim? I will respond to him and look after him. I resemble a green pine tree. I am the source of your fruitfulness. Hosea 14:8. Conspiracy theorists point to pinecones in Freemason architecture and symbolism as another example of organized spiritual oppression, in addition to critical theories relating to Christianity and the Catholic Church. They believe the Freemasons fully comprehend the spiritual significance of the third eye and pay iconic tribute to it regularly, all while continuing to appease the masses with a religious and cultural dogma doctrine. Pinecones are frequently framed in Freemason octagons on Masonic lodge ceilings. Large Freemason sculptures on the side of the Whitehall building in the New York Financial District depict two enormous intertwining snakes spiraling up to a pinecone overlooking Battery Place, which has a striking similarity to the staff of Osiris. According to Rick Strassman, a psychopharmacologist, the third eye pineal gland is the source of the psychedelic dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, in our bodies. Strassman hypothesizes that large amounts of DMT are released in our bodies during heightened spiritual consciousness, such as birth, death, and near-death experiences. Synthesized DMT, or plants containing DMT, are frequently used as recreational psychedelics or in shamanic ceremonies, such as the South American ayahuasca ceremony. DMT or ayahuasca users often report intense ethnogenic experiences of spiritual awakening, contact with spiritual entities, and time dilation or compression. According to reports, thousands of ayahuasca users claim that the serpent is the most frequently appearing archetype in their spiritual or psychedelic visions. Crop circles have also revealed similarities to pinecones. Although crop circles can represent a wide range of items and ideas, the two shown here have notable third eye parallels. Humans have always been curious about the reality of the universe. The existence of the universe is dual, manifest and non-manifest. The senses, or science, reveal manifest reality, while consciousness, or spirituality, reveals non-manifest reality. Human beings can comprehend the existence of the universe at all levels, from the smallest to the largest, using their senses, brain, mind, and consciousness. Human beings have the most refined physical structure in their bodies, but also non-physical consciousness. They can only see the manifest reality with their two physical eyes. They require the inner vision of consciousness, the third eye, to see the non-manifest reality. The spiritual experience of a higher state of consciousness is known as the opening of the third eye in several spiritual traditions. Ancient Egypt depicted the third eye as Horus or Ra's eye. In Buddhism, the third eye is considered a symbol of a higher state of consciousness and enlightenment. In Hinduism, it is referred to as the teacher. The ancient Upanishads compared humans to cities with 10 gates. The sensory world is accessed through 9 gates: 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 2 excretory passages, and 1 mouth. The third eye is the 10th gate, and is said to lead to higher consciousness and inner awareness. Lord Shiva, a Hindu god, is always depicted with a third eye on his forehead. Shiva also represents consciousness. The third eye is considered a portal to the hidden dimensions of reality that the physical eyes cannot perceive. What the third eye sees transcends the physical world's limitations and is not bound by time or space. With the third eye, one can see things from other parts of the world, past and future events. The opening of the third eye allows a person to know higher levels of consciousness and facilitates the process of consciousness evolution until the attainment of cosmic consciousness. It also allows a person to view any level of consciousness from various angles. In different situations, humans experience consciousness in different ways. The spectrum of consciousness refers to the various types of experiences that people have throughout their lives. The following are the 9 major types of human consciousness. Number 1. Life consciousness begins in the mother's womb. 2. Sense consciousness starts when a child is born and gradually begins to perceive things with his senses. 3. Self-consciousness is felt when a person has likes and dislikes for things. 4. Language consciousness is felt when a person starts to utter meaningful sounds. 5. Rational consciousness begins when a person begins to consider what is right and wrong. 6. Social consciousness develops when a person begins to communicate and interact with others. 7. Dream consciousness occurs when a person visualizes dreams while sleeping and fantasizes about things while awake. 8. When a person begins a creative activity, they experience creative consciousness. 9. Cosmic consciousness is realized when a person encounters a spiritual dimension. Cosmic consciousness denotes awareness of the universe's cosmic order beyond manifest reality. This awareness is accompanied by intellectual enlightenment or illumination, followed by a state of moral delight and a sense of joy. After attaining this awareness, a person realizes immortality and has the impression that life is eternal. Richard Maurice Buck, a Canadian doctor, rationally examined the concept of cosmic consciousness in his book Cosmic Consciousness, published in 1901. People throughout history, such as Lord Buddha, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, and others, have attained cosmic consciousness and reached the state of enlightenment, which has been variously described as illumination, fulfillment, salvation, nirvana, Brahmic splendor, and so on. People who have reached this level have nothing else to desire in life, which was when the third eye was also unsealed. The pineal gland is a pea-sized cone-shaped gland or organ deep within our brain. Its existence has been known since ancient times. It's located between the 2 hemispheres of the brain. Many mystics referred to this gland as the third eye. Medical researchers and others are learning more and more about its functions. The pineal gland is a photosensitive organ that serves as the human body's timekeeper. Some claim that it provides interdimensional awareness of the inner self and spiritual reality, besides regulating essential bodily functions like respiration and heartbeat. Many people believe it is also the seat of the soul. Philosophers and spiritual adepts have previously contemplated the true function of the pineal gland. The ancient Greeks thought the pineal gland was our link to the universal realms of thought, or Plato's world of ideas. René Descartes, the famous philosopher, referred to it as the seat of the soul. To understand the pineal gland functions, you should be familiar with the 3 chemicals serotonin, melatonin, and DMT. Serotonin is primarily active during the day. It's associated with joy and fulfillment. Melatonin is produced in response to darkness as it promotes sleep. Melatonin capsules are available in many health food stores to help insomniacs. Melatonin is produced in trace amounts by the pineal gland. Dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, thought to induce dreams, near-death experiences, and visions, is also excreted by the pineal gland. According to several medical experts, the pineal gland secretes DMT, chemically similar to melatonin and serotonin. The pineal gland is situated in the center of the brain, at the confluence of the central ventricles that transport cerebral spinal fluid throughout the brain and nervous system. Melatonin is secreted there and immediately enters the brain via the blood-brain barrier. Dreams are the most common example of visualizing realities without the two physical eyes. This is because the cells in the pineal gland and the retina in the eye are similar. Photons may be detected and transmitted to the brain by cells in the pineal gland, a process known as phototransduction. Visual phototransduction is the process by which light is converted into electrical signals in the retina's rod, cone, and photosensitive ganglion cells. It's fascinating that nature went so far as to create the pineal gland, or third eye, with the same tissues and light-sensing mechanisms as the retina. There must be some significance to it. S.S. Baconier and Associates mentions some interesting facts in a study published in the journal Bioelectromagnetics in 2002. They dissected 20 different human pineal glands and discovered 100 to 300 microcrystals per cubic millimeter floating inside, mostly composed of calcite, a common mineral. Each of these crystals ranged in length from 2 to 20 micrometers and was hexagonal in shape. These crystals resemble the crystals found in the retina of the eye. Baconier's pineal gland research aided in understanding how the third eye could actually see photons of light. The Ajna chakra is associated with the opening of the third eye in spiritual traditions related to Kundalini awakening through chakras. This chakra is thought to be associated with intuition and increased psychic awareness, and it is through this chakra that Kundalini ascends to higher levels of consciousness. Ajna, which translates as command, is considered the intuitive eye. The Ajna chakra is represented by a circle with 2 petals and a triangle. The triangle represents consciousness, while the 2 petals represent the Ida and Pingala nadis, or the moon and sun nerves. The 2 petals of the Ajna chakra could be interpreted as symbols of science and spirituality. The circle and triangle represent the integration of science and spirituality. The Ajna chakra is related to our awareness and inspires higher awakening consciousness. The Ajna chakra is also known as the 6th chakra. It is, in fact, the 7th chakra. It should be noted that there are different opinions on the number of chakras. The total number of chakras given as 6, 7, 8, or 9. According to Vedic literature, the authentic number is 9. As a result, the following are the 9 chakras. Number 1. Muladhara chakra is another name for Brahm chakra. Number 2. Svadhisthana chakra is the 2nd chakra. Number 3. Manipuraka chakra is the 3rd chakra. Number 4. Anahata chakra is the 4th chakra. Number 5. Kantha is the 5th chakra. Number 6. Taluka is the 6th chakra. Number 7. Ajna chakra. Number 8. Brahmarandra, also known as Sahasrar, is the 8th chakra. Number 9. The chakra of Vyom. The chakras located in the palate and space areas are rarely mentioned, but they are significant from a linguistic and cosmic standpoint. Meditation, Kundalini awakening, Shaktipat energy transmission, pranayam breath control, visualization, prayer, mantra recitation, and devotional song singing are all considered good techniques for opening the third eye. Drugs are sometimes used to achieve an altered state of consciousness, but this can be harmful. Activating the third eye means ascending into higher consciousness until we reach cosmic consciousness. The body and brain must vibrate in unison to activate the third eye and perceive higher dimensions of consciousness. Meditation is used to accomplish this. When the body and brain vibrate in unison, a magnetic field is created that leads to higher dimensions of consciousness. Kundalini and Shaktipat's awakening leads to a higher level of consciousness. The transmission of energy to an aspirant in Shaktipat is accomplished through the touch, gaze, sound, or thought of a yogi master. Shaktipat can only be performed by advanced yogis, known as prana in Sanskrit, who have complete control over their life force. Following Shaktipat, psychic energy travels from the base of the spinal cord, Muladhara chakra, to Sahasrara chakra via Sushumna Nadi in the spinal cord. The third eye is opened when it passes through Ajna chakra. Pranayam, or breath control, is another effective method for opening the third eye. There are several techniques for controlling one's breath. The simple Soham breathing technique is widely used and effective. In this method, inhaling is mentally associated with the sound of So and exhaling with the sound of Hum. Other pranayama techniques include rhythmic breathing, diaphragm breathing, alternate nostril breathing, body chakra breathing, and circular breathing. All of these techniques regulate inhaling and exhaling based on the method used. All breathing techniques promote the delivery of oxygen to all parts of the body, particularly the brain. Most medical experts believe that controlled and deep breathing is beneficial to both body and brain health. When the third eye opens, a person begins to have unusual experiences. Despite the fact that his physical eyes are closed, he may suddenly see various images. Some make no sense, and others may be very vivid or blurred. There are many dimensions beyond the senses that one should be able to access with the third eye. Opening the third eye allows for easier remote viewing. A remote viewer is expected to provide information about an object hidden from physical view and separated from it by a significant distance. To distinguish it from clairvoyance, parapsychologist Russell Targ and physicist Harold Puthoff coined the term while leading the Stanford Research Institute, or SRI, team. Among the ideas Puthoff supported regarding remote viewing was a claim made in the book Occult Chemistry that two followers of Madame Blavatsky, the founder of Theosophy, were able to remote view the inner structure of atoms. Opening the third eye allows for creative visualization, which is the technique of visualizing specific behaviors or events in one's life. According to proponents of this technique, creating a detailed schema of what one desires and then visualizing it with all of one's senses over and over increases the power of intuition. Extrasensory perception, or ESP, is the reception of information that's not obtained through the recognized physical senses, but rather through the mind or the third eye. ESP is colloquially known as the sixth sense, gut instinct, or hunch. It implies acquiring information through means other than the basic limiting assumptions of science, such as the organism's ability to receive information only from the past to the present. There are numerous physical advantages. When the inner eye is opened, a person can understand the functioning of various organs in the body and, if necessary, take corrective measures through medication or meditation. Breathing that's controlled and deep is also beneficial to one's health. It allows for the proper interpretation of dreams. Because of the pineal gland's relationship with dreams, it's possible to interpret and understand their meaning. It's also possible to control one's dreams and have lucid dreams. There's no other way to investigate dream consciousness than through the third eye. Accessing different domains of consciousness aids in mind control. When the third eye opens, the mind sharpens, and a person becomes more sensitive to what is going on in reality. He becomes more present in daily activities to make them more efficient. The third eye allows you to explore many unknown areas of your consciousness and gain insight into higher creative ideas. Access to the source field and cosmic consciousness aids in gaining a better perspective and acquiring more knowledge in previously unknown areas. The third eye promotes spiritual enlightenment. It allows complete comprehension of a situation beyond the current mind scope. It also implies spiritual revelation or a profound understanding of the meaning and purpose of everything, including our lives. We must understand that the source of creation and attaining cosmic consciousness and everything in the universe are interconnected. That's a wrap for today. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up, share, and subscribe to the channel to see our latest content.